good.
$14 are doing good. You see. Sorry, this camera's totally the wrong place. I thought you might be doing the Trump one after everything that's been happening this weekend.
Yeah. I think it's so good to do that one, and a lot of people want to be on it. I think a lot of people have a lot of things to say about that.
Nope, we couldn't again.
Is this light in your way, Jess? Up in here?
It's right, it just needs to be,
That way?
yeah, that's good.
Okay,
Sorry.
hitting that lens right on.
I have a record on the podcast, but I can feel my throat being funny.
Oh.
We should do one about ASMR.
No,
If
please.
people like it or
I
not.
hate ASMR. Just coming in.
Everything's slime and food. And
Put
we munch.
slime all over the place. And just crunch our lunch.
Eat with us. Get ready with us.
Eat with us and we'll just eat in silence for 30 minutes.
I think that'd get views though.
I know, I was
My
about to
kids
say.
watch ASMR videos all the time. And I'm like, what are you doing?
What are
I
those?
love it.
They're like satisfying sounds. But I hate those videos so much. They just make me so uncomfortable.
Satisfying sounds.
Because they just
about-
whisper into the mic like, okay, now we're going to be...
What about get ready
Tap
with?
the nails,
Yeah.
What about get ready with me to get ready? I'm ready.
Right, I'm ready as well.
Okay. Ready at this side?
Okay. Can I start?
Whatever you want.
Hello and welcome to episode 14 of the Sunny Views podcast, our Women's Day special. We're going to be talking about feminism. And today, also, I'm your host, Sophia, and I am joined by...
Paula.
Hortense.
Ciara.
So, Women's Day is, for us, this Saturday. For listeners, it would have been last Saturday on the 8th of March. And firstly, is it still important to celebrate Women's Day, and why?
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, we're still in an era where women are not getting the treatment that they're supposed to be having. And, you know, things such as equal pay, discrimination, all of these like really important topics, especially, you know, considering race and things, I do think it's still really important, yeah.
Yeah, same. I think it's also important on the aspect of like there's like women in the past that we fought for like our rights and everything. And it was a really strong battle, if I can say. And like now we're getting better, even though there's still things that, in my opinion, are not like good. But we made a lot of progress, and it's due to those women. So I think we should it's the day to like remember them in a way and be thankful and grateful for them.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I agree. I think we've come a long way since the beginning of like the fight for feminism, I guess, but it's only been 100 years since women got the right to vote, and that's like some of the earliest countries. And like we've come a long way in like the Western world, I think, but there are still countries today where women have no rights, and for those of us that can celebrate it, we should.
Yeah, definitely, for sure. Do you guys identify as feminists, and what does that mean to you? How do you define that?
Well, for me, feminism is, I mean, at its core, it's about supporting women, and especially those that are more marginalized in less developed countries, and making sure that they're also recognized, that they have a voice, that they are able to express themselves in any way that they can. And yeah, it's just, for me, it's mostly about helping other women to also let them have their opinions on things, because I think it's really important.
Same, but also, yeah, I think nowadays it's really kind of like I've talked to people, and in my opinion, it's becoming a bit taboo. Like now, when you're called, like if you say that you're a feminist, everyone think that you just hate everyone, hate men, hate like everything, that you just want to show your body to the whole world and like protest all the time and everything. But I don't think that is that, because in like personally, like I have a boyfriend and everything, but I'm still like I consider myself as a feminist, you know, like I want to support women that, as you said, don't have rights, and I want to keep fighting for the rights that we still don't really have. So
for me, I think it's really important to like bring awareness to the struggles that women face, especially internationally, in like countries where they have less rights, but also like in like very developed countries like Spain, the US, and like the UK. In theory, they have like the same rights, like they have equal pay and equal opportunities, but then in practice, they're still looked down upon, and like maybe you wouldn't hire a female lawyer, for example. So I think it's still, even if in theory, it's everything is supposed to be equal, I think in practice it's not, and there's still a way to go.
Yeah, I agree with all you guys. I'm a feminist as well. I think everyone should be a feminist, because I don't see any argument why you wouldn't be a feminist. Because it's not even just only women should be better than men, it's equal rights, and who doesn't want equal rights?
I know.
And what would you say to someone who would say, oh, if you're a feminist, it means you hate men, and that's the only thing it means?
I think that, I mean, going back to what you said about who doesn't want equal rights, I think men really find that inequality helps them have more power, because they know that they're superior, they know that they can do anything. I've seen a lot of sort of rage bait videos of men saying all sorts of terrible things about women, and saying like, women, you don't have rights and you know that. And what I just think that our world is doomed, even though I try to have optimism about hoping that women can also have their chance to shine, you know. But it's really difficult when there are all these videos about men just going crazy about, oh, women, like, you don't have rights, essentially, and you just have to accept that. It's just unacceptable, I think.
Yeah, same. Like, and I feel like it really depends the person too. So like some like men would be really understanding. So if you have like a really like mature conversation about that, and they go like, oh, but does feminism means that you just hate men? Well, you can actually maybe explain to them, and they'll understand, and they'll like they would like maybe do some research or something. But then there's just type of men that I feel like you can't change, and they will have their opinion, and they will think that, and like you just can't really do anything about it. And I think that's what's the problem, and that's why we're not like moving on forward like that fast, because there's still some men that are like, that have kind of like power, that have this mindset, and we can't really do anything about it. So yeah.
I mean, if you're a man and to you a woman being a feminist means she hates men, if you don't want feminism, then what does that make you? Like, does that make you hate women?
Yeah, that's true.
Yeah, definitely. I think sometimes some men or boys think it's funny to say sort of like anti-feminist stuff, and it's rage bait, like you said. Like, I don't think a lot of these people actually think that women are inferior or anything. It's just that they see that they have this power, and they like to abuse that.
And they don't take it seriously.
Yeah, they don't take it seriously.
They just think, and when you actually try to explain to them that, yes, there's some women that are struggling, like maybe not in our country, we're really lucky in Spain that I think we have like still good rights, but they don't understand that some women are still struggling so much in other countries, and like they just don't take it seriously, and they would just tell you like, oh, but look, are you not happy? In your country you have rights, you can drive, you can vote, you can do things like that, so like what are you talking to me about? And it's just like, they take it so unserious because they don't know how it feels like, and they're not in that position, which is like really selfish.
Yeah. I agree. Yeah. And how do you think that other people, especially men, can be more supportive of feminism and be better allies?
I believe, I mean, in the beginning stages of learning to understand the struggles of women, I think it's important to research. As you've said, you know, like some boyfriends or partners, they try their best to research more about feminism and women and the history of feminism, how far we've come. And I mean, it can have its negative downsides, because they might research like, oh, you know, feminism is advanced. And then they think, well, everything's fine then. So then why is there feminism? So I think it is important to do the correct amount of research and making sure that you're finding credible sources that aren't just more lenient to men, because there are a lot of men talking about feminism when they don't really know what it's like, and that can really affect it. I think it's better to find sources where women talk more about feminism, because of course they know more about it. So yeah.
I feel like there would be like maybe two options. Maybe like if men that have power, like it could be political, like influencers, things like that, are aware of it, and if men like them start talking about it, maybe boys our age would understand it better and like would be, oh yeah, maybe it's a thing and everything. Or maybe, I don't know, this is a bit more abstract, but like I don't know if you guys heard about like now that you have like cramp simulators to like recreate periods cramps, and I think like they could something could be like that, but like for other things it's really abstract, but like maybe something like that, so they could actually
like,
understand
feel the pain.
They actually understand how like we feel for some stuff as women. Obviously they won't understand everything. Like in countries where women can't vote, you can't really do like simulators or anything, but small things like that maybe would help them to understand, because I know that like that really worked, and a lot of boys have like been like, oh yeah, it's actually like really painful and it's a thing. So maybe things like that.
I think research is very important, and giving women a voice, and just listening, but also like what Hortense said, like if a guy is against feminism, he's not going to listen to a feminist talk, but maybe he'll listen to a man talk, and maybe men can do more to like fight like red pill content and like agitate rage bait and stuff like that. But also I think like I really hate it when you're talking about like an issue for women and then men jump in with something that men face as well.
Oh my god.
And especially when it's something that they don't care about other than to
you
like
talk
combat
about like a women's
feminism.
issue, and what about men's mental health?
Oh my god, I was about to say that. I was
Yeah.
about to say that. And like the thing is that we are actually doing things to help boys'
Yeah.
mental health. And like once again, I think that's like for each person, but like if I take us as an example, I think, or me, like I am aware of mental health, and I'm not saying it's just a girl thing. I'm saying also like boys can have it, and I'm understanding of them. But like, yeah, they'll just bring them. Like I did have some conversation with some boys saying like talking about feminism, and they would just go like, oh well, yeah, but like you guys don't really talk about mental health, and I'm like, yes, but that's not the point, because like it's feminism. But
Yeah, that's also like another issue that we need to talk about, like men's mental health. Because if you think, because it's not, men's mental health isn't bad. Like men have the highest suicide rates, but it's not because women are saying, oh, you're so ugly, you should kill yourself, and then they do it. It's because other men are bullying them into not being able to express their emotions, to maybe a lot of that is like gay men who are not able to, who are being basically bullied by other men. And I think you guys probably all know that one quote, like, who set that system up?
Yeah.
Do you know, like from this like really iconic video, Jubilee. It's because it's an important issue for feminism, because feminism is about just destroying the patriarchy, and the patriarchy is also bad for men.
I know I've always said that like also men, like in my opinion, they kind of put themselves in that situation, because if we go really back in history, they're the one who like always kind of had power and showed to people that they were like the boss and that like they didn't have feelings or anything. So now like they obviously, like society put that in their brain, saying like, oh, you're a man, you don't like, you're not supposed to show your emotions and everything. And now they're like complaining about it, saying that, oh yeah, I'm a man, I can't show my emotions, but that's because of what happened in history, you know? So like they like blame us for like their mental health or something. So
Yeah, toxic masculinity is just a huge issue, even for feminists, because I don't know why, but men have such a big issue with having like deep friendships. I feel like they all have really surface level friendships. Like, I don't know if they've ever talked about their mental health to each other. I mean, I don't know, obviously, but I just feel like there's something missing in male friendships and things like that. And even if you tell them, like, you know, oh, but have you even, like, talked about it? If a man comes to you with an issue, and then you say, well, have you talked about it with any other men, see if they have the same issue, and then they say, oh, that's gay. Like,
I know.
Yeah, I was just about to say that.
It's like, what are you gonna do then? Because then you're just gonna dig an even deeper hole for yourself if you're not gonna talk about it. So.
Yeah. And on the note of, like, men feel like they can't be emotional because of what other, like, people would think and how it's not masculine. It's not that they can't show their emotions. Men, like, get really, really angry and, like, punch walls all the time. It's just that they don't want to be, like, sad and vulnerable because it's, like, weak and, like, feminine. Yeah. It's not just, like, they can't show happiness or anything.
Yeah, that's one really interesting thing I've noticed, that women now are, like, okay with being more masculine. Like, we're okay with wearing, like, trousers, you know, or entering, like, male-dominated spaces, like getting male jobs, like, I'm putting air quotes, or stuff like that. But men don't feel as comfortable, like, going the other way around because I don't know, it's just there's, like, this fear of being feminine. Like, you think about it, men don't wear skirts and dresses, and that's seen as, like, weird in society. And, like, nail polish has become, like, more common with men, but still some people think it's, like, weird. And, like, I watched this really interesting video of these, like, children, like 6 or 7 years old, and they had, like, a bunch of girls and a bunch of, like, a group of girls and a group of boys, and they gave them these costumes to dress up in, and all the girls had sort of these, like, male costumes, and then all the boys had, like, girls' costumes, and all the girls were, like, really happy, they were really excited to play, they didn't care about that. But some of the boys were really happy to play, and then some of them just refused. They were like, no, this is girly, I don't want to do it.
Yeah, I think this talking about clothing and this disequilibrium in gender and this sort of power instability, I think it's also because of the social position that we're in, because women were seen as submissive and less powerful. So then if men are brought down to that level, they don't feel powerful anymore. But women, of course, they see men as having this higher power, and so they're like, okay, if I dress more manly, then I'm going to have more power. So I feel like that link between fashion and clothing and the gender shift is really interesting.
I've seen that guy on the internet that I've been following for a while now, and it kind of relates to what you were saying. Like, he posts himself, like, wearing a bit of makeup, nail polish. Sometimes he wear, like, really crazy outfits and like skirts and everything. And he kept on getting comments saying, like, oh my god, you're gay and everything. And then one time he did a video, he was like, no, I'm not gay, I just think it's cool to wear nail polish. It's just I think it's cool to wear, like, mascara, makeup, anything. And no, it doesn't mean I'm gay, it just means, like, I like it, I like colorful things, I like things like that. And I think it really relates to that. And yeah.
It's because I guess, like, I mean, for women, it's like the freedom to choose what you wear. Like, you wear trousers because they're more comfortable, or, like, because you prefer, like, something baggy. So for women, it's just, like, choosing to wear whatever you want. Or maybe it's, like, wearing, like, a suit with pants instead of, like, a skirt because, like, you feel more respected or something in the workplace. But for men, they would never choose that because it's like, why would I stoop down onto that level?
And also maybe, like, I was just thinking, maybe, like, women never really got, like, they never had the chance before, like, in history to, like, wear, like, trousers and things like that. So now that it's, like, acceptable, like, they're really, like, tempted to go and, like, try it and, like, wear them and do things like that.
Also, they're just more comfortable, they just make more sense.
But, like, maybe there's this thing of, like, oh yeah, now I can do this, so I'm gonna do it, you know? And, like, for boys, I think it's just, like, oh, like, they kind of always had that opportunity. Like, if they really wanted, they could wear, like, skirts. But, like, I think, well, it also depends, like, society and time where you live in, you know, but they, like, no one ever told them, no, you can never wear a skirt, you know? But for girls before, it was like, no, you can't wear trousers, you have to wear, like, a dress or a skirt. So the boys always kind of had that, like, thing, oh, I can do it if I want. So it's not that, like, I don't really know how to explain it.
Yeah, I kind of get what you're saying, but that's not exactly true because I think, so I'm not 100% on this, I don't want to say something wrong, but I'm pretty sure like even in like America and like Spain, I'm not sure, but I'm pretty sure in America you used to be arrested for cross-dressing. So if you're a man dressing up as a woman, you get arrested.
Actually.
Yeah. So or if you're a woman dressing up as a man. So it
I
wasn't
didn't know
like that free. But like I do see what you mean with like, for example, kilts in Scotland look kind of like skirts, and that's like normal for men to wear. Or I'm trying to think of another example. I can't think of another one off the top of my head. But there were fashion items for men to wear that were sort of similar.
Yeah, during the French Revolution as well, I read that like there was even a law for women. They could not wear trousers. They could not wear any sort of pants because they had to wear really tight corsets all the time. And there was even, these two women who came up with this new kind of dress, which was more flowy, which you see now more often, which is where the sort of the tighter part is right under the chest, and then it's like flowy from down. I don't know if you've come across that sort of dress, but that was because of these two women. I think their names were Josephine Bonaparte, actually, Napoleon's wife, and it's just really fun to see how these dresses have become more free, more like better for pregnancy and things like that, because of these very tight and conservative laws in history, like in the French Revolution and in the US, like you said. So yeah.
How do you think that gender roles affect children growing up, boys and girls? So like the idea that you can only have certain jobs or do certain things.
Well,
Yeah, you go.
well, I think it's such a big thing. Like I haven't I don't have younger siblings or anything, but I don't, like from what I see in school and things like that, I haven't seen like a big change. As you were saying, like I hear a lot of girls going like, oh yeah, I can be like a fighter if I want, like a police girl, everything. But like for boys, they're still in that mindset that they can only do a certain job and like they can't really do others. But I think it's still getting more like open. Like there's still like definitely some like improvements. But yeah, I don't know. I can't really talk because I don't really know about it, but that's what I've seen.
Yeah, I totally agree. I mean, there's still a lot of restrictions in for example, subjects that we choose in school, and there's a podcast episode about that if the listeners want to listen to it. But yeah, I agree. There's a very big divide between the subjects and linking that to gender. There are men choosing more science subjects, STEM subjects, and women choosing more humanities. So it is interesting why that is, and also about jobs and things, about women wanting to be astronauts, firefighters, doctors, all these very male-dominated careers. But now we are becoming more open to that, even though there is the glass ceiling concept, if you've heard of it. And I've heard a lot of men saying like, oh, it's not a glass ceiling, it's a brick ceiling, because you can never get up to the CEO high top point. And that's just really sad, because women also deserve to be of really high positions. Like I don't know why they couldn't. So yeah.
Yeah, I think there's definitely a huge stigma, and gender roles affect children a lot more than we realize. But what Hortense said, like, it made me think. I feel like if a girl was to say she wanted to be like a firefighter or something, that was the example you used, that would be like fine. But if a boy was to say he wanted to do like a girly job, like a hairdresser or something, I think he'd be stomped on a lot faster.
Yeah.
And he would be like made fun of by his friends.
Yeah, and like even if parents are like supporting of their hairdresser son, like the other children might still make fun of them, and then that like affects how they see themselves and stuff. Because like I think gender roles really do affect children, because have you ever like in primary school, has a teacher ever said, oh, we need some big strong boys to carry some chairs?
Oh, yeah.
And then like, and then I was always one of the people that was like, yeah, I want to carry the chairs too, I can do it.
Because at that age you're like the same.
Yeah, which is not that deep at that age. Yeah, but I've always been like sort of not forced to like only dolls and stuff. Like I mean, ever since I was young, I've loved dinosaurs, which is more of a boy's interest, I guess. And then, like, even when I was like 3 years old, like, I remember in preschool graduation, they would give like a little teddy bear to all the girls and a little dinosaur to all the boys. But then they gave me the dinosaur because they knew I liked dinosaurs, which was really cute. It was a really cute story. So like I've always just been allowed to like express myself however I want, and then that makes me feel really comfortable in myself now. But someone else who might not have been allowed to express themselves as much might feel more repressed, like they haven't been able to explore another side of themselves.
Yeah, I feel it comes a lot also, like, we don't really, like, we don't mention it or talk about it a lot, but I think it also comes a lot from, like, education and how, like, the environment you grown in.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah.
Well, can I ask a question?
Yeah.
Like, did you guys... I feel like it goes in, like, it kind of ebbs and flows a bit. Like, how you feel about, like, your gender as, like, growing up. But did you guys ever, like, convince yourself you hated pink and, like, you hated everything girly?
Yeah, I was gonna say
but
that.
then, like, you get older and you realize, oh, I like pink.
Yeah, I used to be like, oh, pink is the worst color, but now I really like pink.
Yeah.
That is true. I've had that as well. Like I even it's literally
Feminism for 5-year-olds.
The image is literally right in front of me. I was with this group of boys in my primary school, and then they were talking about colors and stuff, and then they looked at me and they're like, "You like pink, right?" And I was like, "No, pink is for like those like really girly girls." And I'm like, "That's not me." But
Pick me.
yeah, a pick me. I was literally a pick me, but yeah, now I really like pink. Actually, it's a really nice
wearing
color
it today.
Yeah, I mean, I love it. I embrace it.
Do you think it's important to use sort of gender neutral language when talking about jobs? So like we were saying firefighter instead of fireman, or like police officer instead of policeman. Like, do you think that's important or just whatever?
Yeah, I think it's important. Like, because then it doesn't give, like, kind of ideas. It doesn't, like, there's a word for that, but I forgot.
Like stereotype.
Yeah, it doesn't... Yeah, it doesn't influence the person. So, and, like, more as when you're a kid, you don't, like, new generations won't have this idea of, like, oh, this is for a man or this is for a girl, you know? It, like, they would just have the idea of the work firefighter. So, yeah, I think it's really important.
Yeah. In English Lit class, actually, we were looking at The Handmaid's Tale, which is a novel kind of about how women are restricted to just giving birth to babies and stuff. And then the teacher brought up this article where university professors are told to use gender-neutral language in like certain fields of teaching and stuff at universities. And a lot of people like argued like, oh, it's just restricting language. Like, why can't you just use the words that you want to use? And then those people, like the ones that passed like the rule to use gender neutral language at the university, like whenever they heard someone say like a gender specific term, like they were punished in some way or like given some sort of kind of like punished basically. And then a lot of people, like I said, were debating that it's restrictive and why should it even be implemented. So, but I'm not sure really. For me personally, I'm not sure where I stand on that. I guess some terms should be more gender neutral, like firefighter, police officer, but other ones are just, I think, a bit reaching. But I'm not.
Oh
I'm
yeah,
not
like
sure.
instead of mother, like birth giver.
Yeah,
Like
that's
kind of
strange.
No,
reaching.
yeah, obviously.
That's really strange. So.
Yeah.
Yeah, do you have anything to say?
I don't know. Like, I think it would be important to like make an effort, especially with younger kids. Like if you're talking about jobs in school or something, or like maybe on more like official things. Like I don't know if you're like a mayor talking about police officers and firefighters. But I don't know. I feel like just day to day, there's more important things.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like you shouldn't like hate on someone because they said policeman
Yeah.
instead of
Yeah.
police officer.
Obviously.
But like as a person, you should be sort of conscious. Like, oh, it's probably better to say police officer. But like if you're just talking with your friends, then it's probably not that like influential. But if you're maybe like a teacher or like someone like an influencer or something, then it's probably like important. And sometimes it's just like easier to use gender neutral language. Like instead of saying like he/she, just say they. It's just one word.
Yeah.
It's easier. It's simpler. It includes everyone.
But yeah, the only issue about this, people are gonna be like, oh, but if I want to be a helicopter, then
Yeah.
what? It's so stupid.
And I think
Just be a helicopter. That's it.
Yeah.
By the way, I think that's one reason why like men don't take this seriously, because I think now like this generation like it's going really big, and like I feel now like people are really like trying to push the thing like really far, and it's going crazy. And now some people are coming out with crazy things on social media. I think we've all seen it.
And I think like people just zoom in onto one thing.
Yes.
Like one person could say, I identify as a cat, and in my school is cat phobic for not having a litter box for me. And then everyone will say, now all feminists identify as cats.
Yeah.
And they
Exactly. So now they just take it like not seriously, because people like young people sometimes don't take it seriously by saying like, oh, I identify as this, I'm this. Oh, but you're saying she, so you think I'm not. And I think that's why boys are just not taking it seriously, because you're gonna say, oh yeah, I think I'm feminist, and he's gonna go, oh, so do you support people that think that they're like that they identify as a toaster or something? And it's not that.
Yeah.
It's like
Like the blue-haired girl narrative, and like yeah.
Yeah, so that was going to be my next question. What do you think about like the media influencing like feminism? Like sort of this stuff where you've just got like one like sort of strange person doing something, and then everyone's just focusing on that. But also, what do you think about that sort of meme where like a guy will be like, oh, I'm just reading my feminist literature and thinking about how period cramps suck. I'm 7 foot, by the way.
Yeah.
Like, what do you think about? Have you seen that?
No.
No, it would be like a guy who would be like, oh, I'm just thinking about how life for women sucks. It makes me so angry. And they'll be like, obviously, like, sort of
Like-
exaggerating, and they're trying to like make fun of people who sort of like act like that. I
Yeah,
guess.
or when they
Like
like a
picking
girl,
boys.
when they have a crush on a girl or something, and then they're like, oh, by the way, like I read a feminist book, so like, do you
Oh,
like me
okay.
back?
Yeah.
So
okay.
I think it's strange because it makes it seem like men can only be appreciated if they kind of pretend to be a feminist. So I don't know why every man thinks that way. That's like, oh, if I'm a feminist, she'll like me. But the thing is, even if you don't label yourself as a feminist, you can still support women. And so I feel like why do you make that such a big part of your personality to say, oh, I read feminist books and I hate period cramps? It's like, okay, good for you, but that shouldn't be the only identifying like personality trait about you. So yeah.
I think to go back to like social media that you were saying,
Yeah.
I think they're good and bad. It's really 50-50, because you'd have some influencers that actually talk about it in a sensitive way, where they like actually like give voices to women, but also like answer questions that boys are asking and everything. But then, as we all know, there's Andrew Tate, for example, that will come and like destroy everything, or probably some other influencers that I don't really know, but yeah, so it's really 50-50, because some people will fall on the video of like the nice little girl or boy who's talking about feminism and answering good questions, but then some other kids will fall on the video of Andrew Tate destroying women. So yeah, it's really 50-50.
And because of the way the algorithms work as well.
Yeah.
So it's like if you watch one feminist video and you like it, and you get more and more and more. But then on the other hand, if you watch one Andrew Tate video, and maybe he's saying something normal in that one because he has some like okay takes. Like he says vaping is bad. Like okay, I can agree with that. So you'll like that one, and then you'll start getting more of these like far right, like anti-woman videos, and it just gets worse and worse. And it starts off slowly, but then you're just stuck watching all those kind of videos.
The TikTok podcast.
Yeah.
But yeah, because the thing is, like, there is the question of, does social media give power to feminism? Does it help the feminists, basically? But the thing is, at the same time as it gives power to women, it also gives power to men. So it's that like, oh, it's getting better, but it's getting worse at the same
like a
time.
double-edged sword.
Yeah, so
I think it's the fact that for a lot of the older men, like Andrew Tate and stuff, they're like not rage baiting, but they're just saying stuff because they know it will get views and it will get interactions from the feminists, but it will also get support from like young boys. But they're basically just like grooming their young audience into like actually believing those things that they don't believe, but they're just saying it for views. But then it actually instills like really bad views in boys about women and about purity and stuff, and it's like it has like a really harmful effect.
Yeah, for sure. Because I think I did see a video where, I don't know if it was Andrew Tate, maybe his brother. He said that he doesn't actually hate women. You know, he supports his daughter and stuff. But people don't watch that video. People watch the video where he says like some completely harmful jokes to women, something about sexual assault maybe, and how it's the woman's fault, stuff like that. And even if they don't believe it, that's the videos that get the shares, the likes. That's the one that everyone sees.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, do you have any more words to say?
Not really, no.
Okay, then I think we'll wrap it up. I think that was a very good podcast, very interesting views. Thank you so much for listening, and hope to see you next week.
Support women.
A little shaky here. Okay, what do you guys think? Good?
Yeah, I really like that one. That was good.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
You know what? At first I thought maybe you should have had a boy or two here. Just to...
Yeah.
Yeah,
Thing is, I did
If
ask.
you didn't, I'm glad you didn't.
Yeah,
Because
because
this is a 100% female perspective, which a lot of male guys or male people, whatever, can learn from. Because it's not an argument with somebody that might counteract what you're saying. So your feminist conversation flows, which means that people like me can learn a lot. Very impressive.
I should have said something to that. Like when I told some friends, like guy friends today, that I was doing the feminist podcast, they went like, actually,
Yeah.
like this.
Next week, all boys reaction to feminism.
Yeah. And they watch the podcast and they're like, okay, I'm gonna stop it right there.
Yeah, they're gonna chase after us.
Yeah.
I'm pretty sure a lot of them don't think of the way you guys, what you're talking about here, because you're feeding on each other, you're feeding on what you're saying.
Yeah.
And a lot of, there's a lot of things that you said that I hadn't really thought about. Because of course I'm a different generation, but. And then you almost brought in the whole debate whether feminism and gender identity are related or not, because that's another one.
Yeah.
Because you could be a feminist, but totally disrespect gender identity. I think that there's two genders, masculine and feminine. Am I a feminist or not?
Not sure.
It's
like,
really,
you know the TERFs?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
J.K. Rowling.
Yeah, the J.K. Rowling.
It's good one. Good stuff.
Okay. Should I do the promo? Join us this week for a very important discussion about feminism, celebrating Women's Day. Join us this week to celebrate Women's Day in a very important discussion about feminism. Okay.
I can release this on before Women's Day.
Yeah.
So it's like in honor of, Okay, whenever you're ready.
Join us this week for a very important discussion about feminism. We're celebrating Women's Day. Oh, can I do it again? Okay, I must not do that. Wait. Join us this week to celebrate Women's Day with a very important discussion about feminism.
Perfect. Cool, thank you.
So is that birth giver? Is that really a thing, by the way?
I heard that one time, but I didn't think that's like a mainstream thing. I just saw that somewhere.
thinking about it as well.
That's really chauvinistic, because that actually limits you to like one role, birth giver. That's
Yeah, I was thinking that as well, because I think that